I'm Morn. I'm a recovering addict. I've been thinking about the topic a little bit before when they first asked me to do it, tell you the truth. And I go right to the literature when I think about it. It says sponsorship is the heartbeat of the program. And I asked myself, what would you do without a heart? That's how important sponsorship is in Narcotics Anonymous. Narcotics Anonymous is also a program for giving, because we only keep what we have by giving it away. Sometimes people think that the meetings are the places where we give away what we have. But we have those individual times that we give away what we have that are, to me, precious moments. You know, I don't think there's anything that can replace those one-on-one trusting relationships that I have gained with people whom I sponsor and that I've gained with my sponsor personally. You know, we have some visible guides and teachers, and we have some invisible guides and teachers. Sponsors are the visible guides and teachers. They're the ones that we can lay our eyes on. Most of us resort to higher power as being the invisible guide and teacher. But either way, both of them are necessary. I don't think I could have stayed clean without the guidance of a sponsor. They told me when I first got here that the best thinking got you here, and the person who tested my best thinking was my sponsor. And man, he was invaluable to me because I was crazy. I was literally crazy. I was beyond mentally ill. You know, I probably should have been on medication years ago, but I didn't get clean in time to get no medicine. So, at any rate, man, I can't imagine how they put up with me for so long. You know, I was hard-headed, I was stubborn, and as soon as they tell me something to do, I do the complete opposite, you know. But the main thing was they never left me. The love that they offered me was the unconditional love that this program said we have to have. You know, and if your sponsor don't love you unconditionally, maybe it's time to change sponsors. You know, sometimes I hear that people have a regular sponsor, and they got a spiritual sponsor, and they got a sponsor for this, and they got a sponsor for that. That's too many damn sponsors. You know, you go to one sponsor, he'll tell you this, and you go to another sponsor, he'll tell you this, and actually you're just gonna find the one that agree with your shit. You know, that's gonna be the one that you're gonna rely on. You're gonna go back to your original sponsor, tell them, you know, I don't agree with you. But over time, like they say, not overnight, but over time, building these relationships, because that's what it is. It takes precedence over everything else. You know, when I've had death in my family, and my sponsor was there. You know, helped me go through that, helped walk me through the pain of the loss. You know, there's so many reasons that I have gratitude for my sponsor. I can't count them because they've done so much for me through the years. You know, I have some sponsees, and one thing I tell them is, what I have to offer you is what was given to me. You know, what I have to offer you is what I did. You know, I don't. That's all I have to give. You know, I can't reinvent the wheel. I didn't create the universe, so don't expect that from me. But, and I got some of them that believe that I am a hard-nosed SOB. And I love him. You know, and if you call them right now on the phone, that's exactly what they tell you. I got some who will say, I treat him harder than any other sponsees I got. I don't know how he knows, but that's what he says. But for some reason, our relationship gravitated that way. You know, it was like, I didn't just decide that I was going to talk to him in a certain way or treat him a certain way. It just came as it went. And as we grew together, our relationship and communication grew into what it was. Now, I have heard him tell other people while I was listening to the side, man, I got the best sponsor in the world. The same one that called me SOB, you know? But, and he was telling the guy how much I do for him, and he was telling him how important sponsorship was. And I was saying, wow, you know? And this program, this is a spiritual program. And in a spiritual program, we practice spiritual principles. You know, we come in and we learn spiritual principles. And this is what we try to share. They say, we try to carry this message to the addict, still suffering, and practice these principles in all our affairs. So I must be practicing these spiritual principles. My sponsees call me on my stuff. If they catch me wrong, I'll give you an example. One of my older sponsees, I was telling him I was going fishing in Florida. And I had this plan. Down there, they only got like 25 fish a day. So I said, well, I'll go out there and I'll get me 25. Then I'll take them back to the hotel and go get 25 more. He said, in the same day? He said, that wouldn't be honest with it. That's the kind of stuff that happened to me if I let them know what I'm going to do, you know? So, you know, but I appreciate that. So I made up my mind that I'm not going to do that. Just because he called me on my stuff. You know, they say sponsorship is a two-way street. And that's exactly what was proven at that moment to me. You know, when we talk about, that's the most literature we had to say our leaders are but trusted servants. Sponsors are leaders in the program. If we're practicing spiritual principles and we're trying to show somebody else how to practice them, how to work the steps, because the steps are what lead us to that spiritual awakening, then we must be spiritual people. We must be spiritual leaders in a program that's expected to have us in that role. Now, we don't do it perfectly, but we have to practice doing it. You know, when the opportunity comes, dealing with my sponsor one-on-one, I cannot tell them a lie. I must tell them the truth. You know, I can't help them with a lie. You know, and sometimes the truth is cold. You know, sometimes the truth is painful. But I found a way to share it in a loving and caring way. And I do that because that's how my sponsors carried it to me, in a loving and caring way. I don't have to beat them up, you know. I could beat them up with words, and but I choose not to do that. So when we got these trusted servants that are leaders, who are guiding people in the program, you know, they got a prayer that they started saying a couple years ago, the third step prayer. I don't know, some of y'all probably heard that. And it says, to me, I swear to God, it's a statement. Because it seemed like it was a prayer to say, God, we ask God, or God, guide me in my recovery, show me how to live. Well, it doesn't say that. So I say that's a sponsorship prayer. because we asking a person to guide us in our recovery and show us how to live. You know, that's what happens in a spiritual program. And I think it's not preamble by God because it's meant for us to be able to practice these principles with the people that trust us to help them in their lives. It's important. It's probably the greatest thing that we'll ever do is be a sponsor. You know, and I believe that's why it says the heartbeat. It's amazing. You know, when you're doing the fifth step, and it says that we admit to God, to ourselves, and another human being, it takes a level of trust beyond measure. I know it did for me to be able to sit down and tell somebody the truth about me, holding nothing back. And the only way I would have done that is because of the relationship that me and my sponsor had developed over time. My sponsor hadn't let me down yet. You know, my sponsor's done some stupid stuff, but it hadn't let me down yet. You know, and I let my sponsor be human. You know, I let my sponsor make his mistakes like I make mine. I don't hold him to a perfection category. And so it's been a good relationship. It's a good ride, you know. I wouldn't trade him for 2 brand new mules. You know, I love him, man. I really do love him. I don't think I'd ever said when I first came here to say I love a man, to say I love a man. But today I can say it openly, willingly, and in front of anybody. You know, it's kind of like how we say to each other when we're leaving or passing or grabbing a hug, I love you, you know. And sometimes we go with that I love you with a minimum concern. But in reality, that's a life-saving statement. You know, my sponsor gives me an attaboy every now and then because he knows that all I ever really want to do was to feel good about myself. And so that pat on the back allows me to feel good about myself. I can get emotional about this stuff, man. Because this is real. You know, but I'm grateful for having done the workshop. I think I don't lose all my time up. Have I? Okay, I can go now. Yeah, but this is a giving program. It's not a taking program, and I hope that if you don't get anything else out of the workshop today, except that we gotta learn how to give, because you can only keep what you have by giving it away. If you're not giving it away, you're gonna lose it. You know, one of my sponsees told me years ago I was on walk when I got here, and I messed around there and found me a van, and I started riding up and down the road to meetings, and he came up to me and said, "What you plan on doing with that van?" I said, "Riding." He said, "You better ride some addicts or you ain't gonna have it long." I tell my sponsees that today. When they get a car, if they ain't trying to help another addict get to a meeting, they ain't gonna have it long. You know, that's the principles of the program. You know, the wisdom that these guys had, I don't know where they got it from, you know, but I remember them sitting around their sponsor, who was like a guru, and they hung on every word that he said. But by the same token, I hung on every word my sponsor said. You know, it's great, man. Don't be afraid to be a sponsor. You know, I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? It says the 12th step is having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. So can I sponsor somebody before I work the 12 steps? You know, that's a question. Hell, I'm trying to answer it. You know what I mean? Somewhere in the literature it says an addict with 1 day clean can help your ass.
That's right.
You know, so, but I wouldn't advise you getting a 1 day clean addict to sponsor you. But anyway, man, that's all I got. Thank y'all.
I'm Johnny and I'm an addict.
Hey, Johnny.
You know, let me tell you about my sponsor. I relapsed, and when I first came back, he thought I had died. But when I found out that he was still in NA, I knew I wanted him to be my sponsor. My sponsor is quite unique. He lives in one part of the state now, and I live in another part of the state. At the time, he was living in one part of the country, and I was living in another part of the country. My sponsorship tree goes from Canada to Florida. I've got about 18 to 24 brothers at any given day. And one of the things that my sponsor taught me was, the first thing he taught me was how to trust in me. He didn't want me to trust in him, he wanted me to trust in me. And the last thing he taught me, well, the next thing he taught me was, it's okay to make a mistake because I don't learn if I don't make mistakes. You know, when we first got together, honesty was the first thing that I observed with him. If I wouldn't be honest with you, I couldn't be honest with me, and vice versa. So my sponsor will look you straight in the eye and tell your ass the truth whether you like it or not. So now we got this honesty thing going on where I can't lie to him and I don't think he lies to me. I don't judge whatever. That's him. It's my job to keep my honesty here. So the next thing, we start talking about working the steps, and we got to the 4th step, and we're doing this 4th step, and I got it held with the pieces of paper I got, and he said, well, what didn't you put on there? And I told him. He said, that ain't shit. Let me tell you what I did. So for about 30 minutes, we were one-upping each other. And that taught me how to trust. You know, trust is very important when you got a sponsor. If you don't trust your sponsor, you ain't got no sponsor. My life is an open book to my sponsor. My life is also an open book to the guys he sponsors. I want to make sure somebody knows who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. You know, I got a guy sitting in here right now. We've been through so much shit, it ain't funny. We've been through stepchildren shit. We've been through ex-wives shit. You know, we just been through shit. But we still clean and we still here today. You know, the next thing my sponsor taught me was how to pray and how to pray openly. If you can't pray openly, why pray? I hear this shit about going in a dark goddamn room and praying. Why not pray and go out there in the middle of the lobby and kneel down and pray? Can you do that? That's the first thing we were in some city and he said, let's pray. Oh, we were in Hilton Head. So we were kneeling down, praying, and we were selling this merchandise all around us. And people are looking at us like, hey, praying? Yeah, we're praying. So now I know how that it's okay for me to pray in public, not in silence and not in a secret. This ain't a secret. This is the greatest goddamn joy I have ever had. So now prayer has come to my life. So the next thing my sponsor taught me was, in getting to know myself, to feel good about myself, and to be healthy. Tell somebody about your health. As a matter of fact, take your ass to the doctor this year. You need to know what's killing you. I'm a freak of nature. I woke up this morning, I put some cream and sugar in my coffee, and that's all I take. I'm 73 years old. I don't have anything. And that's because of my higher power has been looking out for me all my life. one of the things when it came time for me to learn how to forgive myself, my higher power forgave me a long time. So whatever man thinks about me don't mean shit. My higher power forgave me for all the shit I've ever done, and when I wake up in the morning, hopefully he'll forgive me again. You know, we were sitting here talking before the meeting, and we're both supposed to go in 10. You know, you don't find too many old gray-haired addicts with clean time. Most of them did. You know, the next thing my sponsor taught me was camaraderie, fellowship. If you want to be a friend, you have to show yourself friendly. I'm an arrogant, nasty SOB. Ask any of the guys that I sponsor, ask any of the guys that in my sponsorship tree, or anybody that's in my area. I very seldom smile, and one of the things I like to do is take a knife and jug it. Yeah, sometimes you need that shit. Most people came in off the street with people cussing at them and raising hell. I intend to keep that up because I want you to be comfortable when you get here. You ever seen them? They come in the first day and they just cuss them out. That's all. They be so happy. They be so damn happy. Man, I thought I know you like me. What Roman was talking about. Now I know that you like me, and once you find out you like I like you, you will do what my sponsor did to me. Now you will begin to open up, and once you start opening up, now somebody knows you. It's like the TV show Cheers. Go where somebody knows your name. They know who you are when you walk in. If they don't know who you are when you walk in, then you probably need to do a little work on self. You know, the 12 steps are the most important thing in sponsorship. The next thing my sponsor taught me about living is, I'm of the age now where I need to make a will, make a living will, and all that other good shit, besides be healthy, is how to live, and to make sure that I don't die alone. See, death is, it ain't far. It's the fourth quarter, the fat lady singing, so I don't know. But the guys in my sponsorship line know where the will is. They know, somebody knows where the will is, somebody knows where the living will is besides my family. If I die in Atlanta, somebody's gonna find me. You know, that's what it is. It's living to die. That's all this program is for me. If I live well, I die well. It's a great day to die. As they said in some movie that I was watching. The next thing that my sponsor taught me was be generous in giving. If you don't be generous in giving, then you'll never be able to sponsor anybody. You know, we go through things. I've been through things. He goes through things. I'd like to say I sponsor my sponsor, but that would be a lie. My sponsor has a sponsor who has a sponsor who has a sponsor. My job was, we became friends throughout him sponsoring me. The greatest thing he ever gave me was his friendship. You know, over the years we've been more than friends. Life has not been the same since he's been in my life. You know, I asked him, and the one thing I know about my sponsor is his guiding, his most, if one of his sponsors is going through something, the next thing you know, he is at your door. I've never seen or heard of him not being there. Remember, my sponsorship line goes from Canada to Florida. That's a hell of a goddamn territory. Be going through something and he show up. You know, you be telling him, well, you know, I'll be all right. Yeah, you ain't gonna be all right. Not by yourself. The worst thing in the world is you can start thinking. You know, one of the things about the literature is it works high and wide. In the 10th step, I think it's on page 98 or 99, it says, now we give you back the ability to think. That's 99 damn pages you got to get to before you can think. And then it's in step 10. So you've been through 9 other steps before you got to step 10. And that's one of the things that my sponsor has instilled in me. You know, one of the things that my sponsor has been with me is brutally honest. I remember I was married and I wanted to kill my stepson, and I called my sponsor and I started cussing. And he asked me, did you pray? Hung up on me. That was back during the time when you had real phones. They're called landlines. I'm old. Okay? So, went on about 2 or 3 days. I called him. He hung up on me again. He hung up on me this time. So about a week went by and I called him. He asked me, he said, did you pray? That's what he asked me the first time when I hung up. I wanted to kill somebody. But I done went a week and a half without killing anybody, but all I had to do was pray. All I had to do was answer the question. And that's what my sponsor does. He makes it so damn simple for me to live till it's scary about living. Life is simple. I can complicate shit in my mind. I tell you how I do it. Somebody looks at me wrong and I have this instant conversation. And about 20 seconds later, we're in the middle of a full-blown fight. And all they did is look at me wrong. Well, that's what my sponsor has been able to get me out of that dumb shit. The dumb shit will kill me, but the live shit will keep me alive. You know, I got sponsees, they're the greatest guys in the world. My sponsor tells us that we're the greatest guys that he's ever seen. And one of the things I like about my sponsees, one of the things my sponsor taught me to do was let your sponsees meet each other, let y'all get together regularly. Whatever time you do it, make sure that somebody knows their name. Don't have sponsees who, I have a unique situation where two of my sponsees don't like each other, but I'm their sponsor. Now, do you think I'm gonna take sides on the internet shit? No. Motherfucker, you figure it out. It ain't my job. They didn't make me peacemaker, they said sponsor. Now, if you want to work the 12 steps and try to figure it out, we can do that. If you don't want to work the 12 steps and try to figure it out, then you're probably going to be mad at him the rest of your life. And it's not my job. You know, I got another sponsor who thinks that I should make his every decision. My sponsor doesn't allow me to do that. My sponsor allows me to make mistakes, like I said earlier, so that when the next time I do this same thing, I might not make the same mistake. It says very on in the basic tech, making the same mistake over and over again, called insanity. So if you want to get out of insanity, don't make the same damn mistake. Very simple. It's easy to be in Narcotics Anonymous. The hardest thing to do is live in